हरि ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा कीप स्माइलिंग Balvihar August 2025 Red Gaja Moon the monkey I love India Jai Hind Shreya Bansi speechless Swarup Mohite Estrangers Ganesh the Great Estrangers Moon the monkey says respect those who tell you the bitter truth, not those who tell you sweet lies. Dear children, hurry on. Verdict. Have you heard of common sense? Well, let me tell you, it is not so common after all. Here is a story. Once a grammarian was traveling in a boat. He was full of self-importance and asked the boatman, "Have you ever studied grammar?" "No," replied the boatman. "Then half your life has gone to waste," said the grammarian. After a while, a strong wind tossed the boat violently in the waters. "Do you know how to swim?" asked the boatman. "No," replied the grammarian. "In that case," said the boatman, "your whole life has gone to waste because this boat is sinking." With love and blessings, Bharati Auntie. Bharati Suktan first. Say something nice. From Chinmaya with love. Say something nice. If you don't know how to say anything nice, keep your mouth shut. Great Gaja. Elephants are the largest living land animals. 3 living species are currently recognized: the African bush elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. Their distinctive features: a long proboscis called trunk, tusks, long sharp teeth, large ear flaps, pillar-like legs, sensitive grey skin. Elephants are herbivorous. They like to live in groups. They can live up to 70 years in the wild. They are often hunted for their tusks, the source of ivory. This must be stopped. Greatly revered and respected in India as Lord Ganesh. Gaja, elephant in Sanskrit. Magical clicks. Ganesh loved taking pictures with his small camera. His excitement knew no bounds when his teacher announced a school photography contest on amazing nature. Soon he began thinking about what he could show. One morning, Ganesh saw his mother planting pea seeds. "Can I take pictures of them?" he asked. Of course, his mother smiled. "But first soak them in water for a day or two, then plant them." Ganesh did as he was told. Then he carefully filled a small pot with soft soil. He made a tiny hole with his finger, gently placed one pea seed inside and covered it with more soil. Then he watered it regularly. Every morning, Ganesh would watch. Day 1, just soil. Day 2, still just soil. He began to worry. Nothing is happening, he thought. After 3 days of seeing nothing, Ganesh felt upset and impatient. Maybe the seed is not working. He complained to his mother. She gently said, good things take time, beta. Be patient and keep watching. And finally, after a week, a tiny green dot appeared. Then, a few days later, a small leaf peeped out. Then the stem grew taller. Another day, and more leaves opened. Every day brought a surprise, and every day Ganesh took a picture. The plant grew slowly but surely. Ganesh never heard it growing. It happened in complete silence. After 2 weeks, the pea plant had many green leaves. It was beautiful. For the exhibition, Ganesh put all the pictures in a sequence. Wow, said his classmates, it's like magic. The judges too were amazed. This shows how nature works. One judge said, growth happens quietly, but it never stops. Ganesh's photo won him the first prize. He was so happy. As he stood on the stage amid applause, the judge asked him, what did you learn? Ganesh replied calmly, plants grow in silence. They don't make noise. They just keep growing every day. I am here, but the pea plant at home is still growing, still silent, still magical. Sometimes the most amazing things happen when we simply watch and observe patiently. Ganesh walked home with his friend Ravi. Your camera helped you win, said Ravi. Yes, Ganesh smiled. My camera is like my best friend. It helps me to see things I might miss. Will you take more pictures? Ravi asked. Always, Ganesh said. I want to capture a butterfly growing and maybe a flower blooming. There's so much magic around us. Can I help you? Ravi asked excitedly. Of course you can, Ganesh said, holding his camera close. Photography teaches us look carefully at the world. Every picture tells a story, but remember to be very patient. The two friends laughed merrily as they walked home. Based on the experiments of Dada Saheb Phalke, the father of Indian cinema, by Jayanti Arun. World Photography Day, 19th August. Velu Nachiar, the fearless. Deep in the forest, Velu Nachiar heard the horses of the British army galloping in her direction. She quickly hid behind a huge tree and kept watch. The day's glory events, the day's gory events made her dizzy. Only moments ago, she was on her way to worship Lord Shiva in the Shivagangai province with her husband, King Muthu Vaduganatha. Vaduganatha. He was the ruler of that province. Meanwhile, the British army had been slowly invading Indian states and taking control of them. They had started by enforcing heavy taxes on them. King Muthu Vaduganatha had opposed this move and refused to pay. The British persisted and even threatened him with dire consequences. He did not relent. With the help of the Nawab of Arcot, a town in Tamil Nadu. The British army attacked the king and his wife when they were on their way to the Kalishwar, Swarnakalishwar. The king was instantly killed, but Velu escaped and proceeded to Shivagangai through a dense forest. She was guided to safety by a shepherd woman who recognized her. Velu, rooted behind the big tree, heard soldiers questioning the shepherd about her whereabouts. The shepherd refused to answer, so they beheaded her and sped away. Velu was completely devastated. She took a vow that she would recapture Shivagangai from the British and re-establish her kingdom. She sought the help of the Marudu brothers and Thandavarya Pillai, Thandavarya Pillai, loyal citizens of Shivagangai. She then went to meet Hyder Ali, the ruler of Mysore. Velu was trained in warfare and possessed vast knowledge of war strategy. She was fluent in Urdu as well, which helped her in forging a friendship with Hyder Ali. After 8 years of detailed planning, she led her army to recapture her lost kingdom. Her soldiers included local women. The battle was fierce and came close to destroying the British Army's store of weapons. Kuili, one of Velu's commanders, sacrificed herself to crush the British Army's weaponry. Eventually, Velu recaptured Shivagangai. Moved by Kuili's patriotism, Velu erected a memorial dedicated to her on the very spot where she gave her life. The queen paid her respects by surrendering her diamond Mangalsutra to the memorial. Following in her footsteps, local women have kept up the tradition by paying their respects at the same spot even now. Velu Nachiar's palace, where she lived and ruled from 1780 until 1790, stands tall even today at Shivagangai, Tamil Nadu. Let us remember and recognize the valor and sacrifice of the first woman of our freedom movement, Usha Sundaresan. Independence Day, 15th August. Add your colors to our national flag. Raksha Bond. Reena ka, where is my Rakhi? Yelled Arav, bouncing into the living room. Raksha Bandhan morning was always his favorite. Sweets, surprises, and a new superhero Rakhi on his wrist. His older sister, Reena, grinned. Here I am, give me your wrist. As she tied a Spider-Man Rakhi on Arav's wrist, he asked, why do we celebrate Raksha Bandhan? Is it for fun? Reena smiled and said, it's fun, but it's also full of meaning. Raksha means protection and Bandhan means bond. So the festival is a bond of protection. Want to hear some cool stories? Arav, already munching on a laddu, nodded eagerly. A long time ago, there was a battle between the gods and demons. Lord Indra, the king of the gods, was losing, so his wife King Shachi tied a sacred thread on his wrist and prayed for his safety. With her blessings, Indra won. That was the first Raksha Bandhan. So the Rakhi gave him powers? Arav asked. Not powers like in cartoons, Reena said, but the power of love and faith. She continued. Then there's Lord Krishna and Draupadi. Once Krishna's finger got cut, Draupadi tore a piece of her sari and tied it around his wound. Krishna promised to always protect her, and he did. That thread became a bond forever. Wow, said Arav. Any more? Oh, yes. There's a beautiful story about Goddess Lakshmi and King Bali. Tell me. Once the kind but powerful King Bali had won control over all the worlds. Lord Vishnu promised to guard his kingdom and went to stay with him. But Vishnu's wife, Goddess Lakshmi, missed him and wanted him back. So, what did she do? She disguised herself as a poor woman and went to Bali's palace. She tied a rakhi on his wrist and said, "You are like a brother to me now." Bali was touched. He said, "Sister, ask me for anything." Lakshmi then revealed who she really was and asked for her husband back. What did Bali do? He smiled and said, "A promise is promise. Go home with your husband, dear sister." And from that day, people remember that a Rakhi can build bonds of love even between strangers. Arav was quiet for a moment. So, Raksha Bandhan isn't just about brothers and sisters who are born in the same family. Exactly, Reena nodded. It's about care, protection, and the promise to stand by each other, whoever they may be. Just then, their neighbor Zoya walked in with Rakhi. Reena Didi, I brought this for you for always helping me with homework. Reena smiled as Zoya tied the Rakhi on her wrist. Arav looked surprised. Girls can tie Rakhi to girls? Reena smiled. Of course, Rakhi is for anyone you care about. That night, after all the celebrations were over, Arav sat on his bed looking at the Rakhi on his wrist. He got up, walked over to Reena's room, and handed her a small paper envelope. What's this? She asked. My Raksha Bandhan gift for you, Arav said shyly. I made this gold and silver thread Rakhi. He tied the Rakhi and gave her a chocolate. Reena smiled, eyes soft. Best Rakhi gift ever. Arav grinned because even such super sisters need someone to protect them, right? They both laughed, and in that laughter and love, Raksha Bandhan was celebrated. Sarita Shetty, Raksha Bandhan, 9th August. The land of saints, the tale of Rishi Bharadwaj. Kaushiki and Advika always looked forward to weekends. Aji's stories made their home come alive. That Rishi Panchami, just after Ganesh Chaturthi, the living room was full of cousins, friends, and the smell of ghee lamps. Aji adjusted her sari smiled and began. Today I will tell you about Sage Bharadwaj. But first, do you know why we celebrate Rishi Panchami? The girls shook their heads. Ajay's voice turned soft and reverent as she spoke of the seven great sages and how women wait and fast to honor them. It's a day of cleansing and gratitude, she said, a way to remember those who gave us wisdom. Aji made all the young girls roll teeny cotton wicks between their fingers. These will light our lamps for all 10 days of Ganesha. She smiled. As their hands worked, their ears listened. Bharadwaj, the wise sage, Aji began, was not just a rishi, but also a doctor, a teacher, and writer. He taught Dronacharya, the guru of the Pandavas and Kauravas, and even appears in the Rig Veda. The girl's eyes widened. So he was like a superhero with a book, giggled Advika. As the cotton wicks grew into a neat little pile, Aji's voice grew softer, drawing the girls in closer. Kaushiki and Advika, along with their cousins, sat cross-legged around her, their fingers now slowing as their hearts leaned into the story. The glow from the diyas danced across their eager faces, eyes wide with wonder. Aji continued. Rishi Bharadwaj's full name was Bharadwaj Barhaspatya. Barhaspatya because his father was the great sage. Shall was his compassion. He saw suffering on earth and prayed to gently placed the last cotton wick in the bowl. Gently placed the last cotton wick in the bowl and smiled. Rishi Bharadwaj wasn't just a healer, he was a teacher to 55 students and a guide to generations. His family of disciples, guide to generations. His family of disciples in the Charak Samhita. Such was the greatness of Bharadwaj Rishi, a sage for all times. The girls looked up, eyes shining. His story, like the wicks, had lit something within them. Aparna Dedhiya, Rishi Panchami, 28th August. Elephant jokes. Why do elephants have such long teeth? Because their parents did not give them braces when they were young. Why was the elephant hiding behind a tree? Because he wanted to trip up the passing ant for it to grow. Why are elephants grey? They would look pretty silly if they were purple, wouldn't they? Bharati Subtankar. Breaking coconuts. Script Rutvik. Artwork Ishwari. Manya had a big swimming race coming up. Dadu, do you think I will win? We will see tomorrow. First, let us visit Ram uncle's new sweet shop. Look there. He has got a coconut. Ram uncle is opening his new sweet shop. Ganpati Bappa Moria. Crack. Why did yours? Inside. Inside is the soft, sweet part. Right in. I smashed my fears. Now I will swim with confidence. Young achievers. How many of you enjoy writing? Well, not creating masterpieces, but just using pencil or pen and writing on paper. Eons ago, writing began as inscriptions on walls of caves using sharp stones and tools, and later on palm leaves. People then wrote using feather tips by dipping them in ink. Can you imagine writing like that? The strokes of the brush created such magnificent ways of writing, and each language unraveled stylish and aesthetic writing across the globe. Soon enough, the writing tool evolved, and we are today stuck with ballpoint pens. How many of you have tried writing with either a pencil, paint, and brush, or even a feather? Would you attempt and see the difference it causes to your writing? A little girl in Nepal enjoyed writing during her sessions in school. From around the age of 11, she began efforts to write beautifully. Her writing not just looked beautiful but was easy to read as well. Prakriti went to Virendra Sainik Avasiya Mahavidyalaya in Nepal and enjoyed going to school like all other children. She had a flair for writing well and nurtured it by writing for others to see. Mahavidyalaya. Handwriting is an essential Mahavidyalaya. Handwriting is an essential skill for both children and adults. Just like the disease that spreads by a virus, Prakriti was quite oblivious to this internet rage and was informed very soon, quite suddenly, that her handwriting had received a lot of applause. Her handwriting was soon selected as the best in all of Nepal. She received a congratulatory note from the embassy of UAE for having the most beautiful penning style. Not just that, her writing was selected at an handwriting. Guess what Prakriti did? She handwrote gratitude notes to all those who appreciated and awarded her. Isn't that so amazing? Write tirelessly any number of sentences, eating away to glory. When he eating away to glory, when he could eat no more, he set for home. He called out to his vehicle, the little mouse. Come on, Mushak, let us go home. The obedient mouse got in, but the slit on the stomach would not close. He tried several times and then gave up. I need to tie my stomach with some rope, he told himself. Then suddenly his eyes fell on the cobra. His face lit up. He immediately caught hold of the cobra and cried, since you are the cause of my fall, I shall make you my belt. He took it with both his hands and tied it around his belly. Thus, our baby mounted Mushaka once again and started on his way home. Just then, he heard someone laughing. Ha ha ha! Vinayaka looked around. Oh, it is the moon. And in no time, his temper rose. About so What if I fell down? He thought to himself. With his face covered with anger, Vinayaka looked at the moon and cursed it. You will no longer light up the sky. You are finished. The moon almost fainted. Then, after a long time, gazed, he said, I did not want to hurt you. Lord, forgive me. Lord Ganesh relented. But a curse is a curse. It cannot be taken back. It can only be diluted. So the Lord told the moon, okay, I forgive you. You can continue to stay in the sky, but you will not shine like a big disk always. Every fortnight you will wax and wane. Lord Ganesh also proclaimed that anyone seeing the moon on this day will be defamed, and so on Ganesh Chaturthi we do not see the moon. Once Sage Narada visited Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati at their abode to see who of the two, Ganesha and Kartikeya, was most intelligent. Narada gave a fruit to the divine couple and said, both of you must have this mango, but the fruit must not be cut. So they thought, why not give it to the children? So they decided to give it to one of their two children. However, they were parents after all. They loved their children equally. How could they give a mango to one and not give it to the other? Narada Muni came up with a solution. He said to the two children, travel round the world thrice, and the one who comes first will get the fruit. Kartikeya immediately started on his vehicle, the peacock. But poor Ganesh, how could he travel with such a huge body? But he was very intelligent. He asked his parents to sit together. Revered parents, you are my world. There is no one in this world greater than you. I will go around you 3 times, which means I have gone around the world 3 times. Thus, Lord Ganesh proved his intelligence. Sangeeta Rao, Ganesh Chaturthi on 27th August. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. Ashtavinayak. There are 8 temples dedicated to Lord Ganesh, popularly known as Ashtavinayak temples. These are situated in Maharashtra. The Siddhivinayak at Siddhatek on the banks of the Bhima river. Shri Moreshwara at Morgaon, Shri Balladeshwara at Pali, Shri Varadavinayak at Mahad, Shri Chintamani at Theur, Shri Girijatmaja at Lenadri, Shri Vigneshwara at Ozar, temple dedicated to remover of obstacles. Shri Mahaganapati at Ranjangaon has a powerful and majestic idol of Ganesha, of carrying the national flag on the sports day parade. On his way to school, he bumped into Manohar. Manohar, who was from Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu, was a recent transplant to Mumbai, where he worked as a university professor. Hi Akash, he said brightly. Where are you off to? School for sports day. I am the captain and the flag bearer, you know. The excitement and pride were palpable in his voice. What an honor! Congratulations, said Manohar. That reminds me, there was a young lad from my state who grew very attached to the Indian flag in the 1930s. Really? Said Akash, intrigued. Who was he? Kumaran, now known as Kodi Kata Kumaran, meaning Kumaran who saved the flag. My school is good 15 minutes away. Do you want to walk with me? I would like to know more about this Kumaran. Why not? This will be my exercise for the day as well. Manohar said with a grin. So Kumar Swami Aka Kumaran was a weaver's boy. He dropped out of primary school. Inspired by him, many young inspired by him, many young men joined anti-British protests, including Kumaran. Prominent leaders of the freedom movement was also joined the young protesters. Kumaran was given the privilege of carrying the national flag, which was raised as a symbol of freedom. In 1932, Gandhiji was imprisoned by the British in Bombay, now Mumbai. Riots and protests broke out all over the country. In Tirupur, local leader P.S. Sundaram organized a protest which Kumaran joined. The protesters once again carried the Indian flag, even though its public display was banned. Kumaran was one of the flag bearers. The British forces came down heavily on them, attacking with sticks and clubs. Many ran away, but Kumaran stood his ground. As a result, he was gravely injured. Later, his fellow protesters found him lying on the ground, tightly clutching the flag. He had passed away. He was only 27 years old. His love for the flag is still the talk of the town. Tirupur is now also famous for Kumaran's heroics. The savior of our flag, Manohar finished. Akash barely noticed his school gate. What a fabulous young man Kumaran was, he cried. Today, when I march with the flag, I will silently thank all those, particularly Kumaran, who gave their lives so that I may be free. Usha Sundareshan, Independence Day, 15th August. Paper Cup Ganesh. Let us make our own Ganapati for Ganesh Chaturthi. Materials: 1 paper cup, color paper pink, yellow, orange, etc. Glue and scissors, markers black and red, googly eyes, cotton beads, optional. Steps: basic base. Turn the paper cup upside down and color it. Let it dry. Ears and trunk. Cut 2 big ears and 1 long trunk from colored paper. Face. Stick googly eyes to draw your own. Add the trunk and ears. Draw a tilak and add small teeth with white paper. Crown. Cut a crown from yellow or golden paper and glue it on top. Decorate. Add cotton beads or pearls as you like. Your cute little Ganesh is ready to shine. Fill with fruit. Watermelon is green on the outside and red inside. It is very juicy and sweet. It is full of vitamins and fibers. Watermelon is around 90% water, which makes it useful for our body. I love watermelon. Watermelon Day, 3rd August. Let trust in the Lord be thy friend. In his childhood days, Sri Krishna, revered as an epitome of love and wisdom, would often travel from Nandagaon to meet Radha at Braj. On one of the numerous occasions, he saw Radha seated on a stony slab with his Sakhi Indulekha on the banks of the serene Yamuna river. Indulekha seemed perturbed and Radha was trying to console her. Krishna approached them. Radha, what disturbs you both? Radha said, feelings, Kana, greetings, Kana. Indulekha is worried. Her mother left home in the wee hours of the morning today to the nearby village to sell buttermilk, but she has not yet returned. Indulekha fears that something untoward could have happened. Krishna burst out laughing. Krishna's laughter echoed through the nearby forest. Kana, why do you laugh? Don't you see the gravity of the situation? Radhe, Radhe, such a trivial matter, and Indulekha sobs. Don't delve in illusions. Indulekha stood up. What illusions? Krishna said. How did you conclude that something wrong has happened to your mother? Every day she reaches home by lunch. Now it has been 3 hours since noon. Krishna asked Indulekha, whom do you offer your prayers to every day? Indulekha said, my mom and I chant several verses of the glory of Lord Shiva and make a food offering every day. Do you trust Lord Shiva? Kana, how can one distrust Mahadev? Then why do you despair? Radha queried, meaning? Indulekha, you and your mother invoke the blessings of Lord Shiva every day, and yet you seem to strongly distrust him. Kana, what you say is beyond my understanding. Krishna indicated. Look at the toddler left near the tree. The mother, an ardent devotee, has entrusted her child to God and take care of him until she returns after collecting some water from the river. Radha and Indulekha exchanged glances. Indulekha looked at the birds melodiously singing praises of the Lord while collecting some twigs to make a new home. The world moves on the trust in Him. Don't you trust Lord Shiva to take care of your mother? Indulekha exclaimed. Oh, Kana, how right you are. Need to trust him and be assured of my mother's safety. All of a sudden, Krishna pointed out, look who is coming. Radha and Indulekha turned around to see Indulekha's mother walking down the lane in a hurry. Indulekha called out aloud, Mom, why are you so late? Indulekha's mother smiled at all of them. Oh, what a pleasant surprise to see you. I am sorry, Indulekha, I got late. There was a puja at the temple which I attended to seek Lord Shiva's blessings for the good health and happiness of all. Indulekha ran to hug her mother and said, Mom, Kana was so right. You must thank him for teaching me a lesson that I didn't think of before. Her mother queried, "What?" It is how to place your faith in God and believe in His love and care for His devotees. Dr. Sajilata Gopal Krishnan, Janmashtami, 16th August. Food for thought. Your true friend. Rohan had just moved to the new city in India and was starting ninth grade at his new school. On his first day, his mom offered a piece of advice. Choose your friends wisely, beta. Rohan took it to heart, but in his own way. I will be smart about this, he thought. I will choose the right people to help me do well. He started with Ayush, the tennis captain. Ayush had a unique sense of style, bright purple shoes, a retro headband, and a cold kokum juice in hand during lunch. Some kids whispered and laughed about his choices. If I match his vibe, maybe I will get noticed at tryouts, Rohan thought. He wore light purple shoes, a with wristband to match Ayush's headband, and sipped kokum juice. He made the team. What Rohan didn't realize was that Ayush had watched him play during PE and was already impressed by his quick reflexes. Next, Rohan focused on Zia, the math club president. She was admired for her brilliance but kept to herself. When he learned her birthday was on March 14th, Pi Day, he gifted her a cap with the pi symbol stitched in glitter. 3.4 314 Pi Day. Ria smiled. When it came time to pick club officers, she chose Rohan. Again, what Rohan didn't know was that she had seen his sharp thinking during the problem solving round and knew he was a good fit. Then came summer with thousands of social media followers and a charm that could fill an auditorium. Everyone knew him, but few were actually his friends. To Rohan's surprise, Summer approached him after science class. Your project idea on biodegradable materials. Brilliant. I would love to learn more. Rohan was way too excited that a celebrity was approaching him and wanting to be his friend. Flattered, Rohan agreed and shared all the project details. The next day, when the school competition board went up, next to Summer's name was Rohan's idea. Word for word, Summer had submitted it solo. Rohan's stomach sank. That evening, he sat on the veranda while his younger cousin watched their grandmother replant a climbing jasmine. She gently united a stick from one plant and used it for another. Pahati, the cousin asked, "You just used the stick on the plant and now it's tossed aside." Grandma chuckled. Plants grow that way. It's how they work. But people aren't plants, sweetheart. Friends grow with each other, not on top of each other. They don't just support when it is needed and walk away. True friendship is give and take and full of trust. Rohan looked down at his hands. That's when it hit him. He hadn't been choosing friends, he had been selecting shortcuts. The next day at school, he walked past Summer without a glance and found Ayush near the school canteen. Hey, Rohan said, want to practice serves this evening? Ayush grinned. You bring the juice, I will bring the rackets. Sri Devi Krishnan Friendship Day, 3rd August. Amit's mission to smile. Mind your mood. Stop crying, Amit. Tears won't help, my little star. Ma said gently, wiping his cheeks. But Ma, Amit sniffled. No one wants to talk to me. I tried to make friends, but they all just walked away. He buried his face in Ma's arms, remembering what happened that morning. A boy in his class had scrunched up his nose and shouted, get away from me, stinky mouth. Everyone had laughed. That hurt more than anything else. Ma held him close. She didn't laugh, she didn't scold, but she did say something surprising. What that boy said was very rude, she said, but maybe we can solve the problem in a smart way. Want to meet a special friend who helps children to make lots of friends? Amit blinked. A friend who helps you to make friends? It is some kind of friendship wizard. Ma smiled. Not exactly, but close enough. Curious, Amit jumped into the car. Vroom! Off they went on their mini adventure. Now, my clever reader, who do you think this special friend is? A superhero? A magician? An alien from the planet of politeness? No, she was a dentist. Dr. Disha had a twinkle in her eye and wore a tooth shaped badge that said Smile Squad. She checked Amit's teeth and then peeked inside his throat. Ah, I have found the villain behind the smell, she said. It's not you, Amit, it's something hiding in your mouth. Something yucky called tonsil stones. Tonsil stones? Amit asked, wide eyed. Yes, they are like tiny stink bombs hiding in the back of your throat, she explained. They form when we don't brush well or forget to gargle. But you shout back, or would you pause and ask, is there something I can learn from this? Not every mean word. Books are best. Count your blessings. Prajna lived in the busy metropolitan city of Mumbai. She went to one of the best convent schools, but somehow was very disoriented and was not good at academics. She also found it difficult to make friends. She did not enjoy school at all. Prajna had very orthodox parents. They would not allow their daughter to go out at all. So she was very lonely. She was not the era, this was not the era of the internet, and not when the generations could argue with the parents. Sometimes she was in tears as she had no friends of her own age. She was an only child and her cousins were much older than her. But there was one thing she loved. She loved reading. Initially, she started with Enid Blyton, like all the other children, the naughty books, the famous files. She would wonder at all the antics of Noddy and big ears and their little red car, would look forward to the next adventure of the famous five. Her father, a voracious reader himself, presented her with the Reader's Digest set of condensed classics. When she had finished most of these reads, Pradnya was on the hunt for more books, for she had found an interest that would absorb her, that would abate loneliness, that would be a friend to her. The world of books was a great discovery. It was a world where she was happy and did not miss not having anyone. In fact, she now did no schoolwork but just read and read till late night. She did have to go to school, but school was just like a dream. Pradnya was rather happy. She never took the school bus or the family car. A carefree walk of different routes would get her home. Also, she would never just walk through the main door of her home. She would clamber up a grill, jump over a small wall, and enjoy the walk and the way home thoroughly. Then Pradnya discovered a library, the Warden Book House at Bridge Candy. She would walk there every day from home to choose her books. Sometimes she would be able to take out a book of her choice from the shelves. Other times she would be at a loss. As she used to come very often, the librarian had come to know her well and he helped her choose a book. The librarian had a funny technique with books. He and Pradnya would hum and strum, running their fingers across the bookshelves, and then find books she would love to read. Pradnya loved coconut water, and with the books in her hand, she would sit on the rocks across the library. She would eat chana, sip coconut water, and silently gaze at the sea, listening to the sound of the waves gently crashing against the boulders. But another part of Pradnya's life suffered. She was doing very badly academically. One day the principal called her parents and explained that Pragna was an intelligent girl. Then why was she doing so badly at school? Pragna was very fond of her Masi, so the parents sought her advice and together they spoke to Pragna. First, they listened to her and understood her problem. They confronted her that things would change. There should be friends in her life and she would be allowed to go out with few restrictions. But Pradnya too must promise something. She must pull up her socks and start studying with gusto to do well in the schoolwork. Everything worked out well when there was communication with the parents and child, with a favorite family member, and most importantly, when the school faculty took an interest in the students' welfare. Suhasini Lohiya, Book Lovers Day, 9th August. Ready, set, roll. No one wants to play cricket with me, Shubha grumbled, flopping onto the front steps. Ah, says the next Dhoni. His twin Richa replied, not looking up from her sketch pad. Did you see that stumping last week? Captain Cool was faster than lightning. I didn't even blink before the batsman got out. I want to be like him someday. Takes focus, my dear, Richa said, waving her crayon like a teacher. What's the use of focus when no one wants to play? Shubha muttered. Even during holidays. Why don't you bowl for me? I will get some batting practice. You and your cricket dreams, she muttered. I am already tired of listening to you. I will stay here with my crayons. Suddenly, they heard cheerful giggles from the house next door. It was Vanya, their 5-year-old neighbor, setting up plastic bottles filled with colors and tossing a rolled up sock at them in the yard. Did you say that? She called out with a big smile. They all fell down. She is bowling, Shubha said. Good shot, Vanya, Richa said with a smile. Just then, Janaka, Vanya's older brother, and their friend walked in, holding a gawa and grinning. You are welcome, he said with a bow. That game was my idea. What do you mean? Asked Shubham. Vanya and I started it yesterday. Mom said it helps her focus and it is fun. You turned your courtyard into a bowling alley? Richa asked. Well, Janak said proudly. Last month I went to a real one in the city. Shiny floors, giant pins, loud crushing sounds. Should we try it too? Shubha asked. Let us ask Vanya if we can join her game, Janak said. Richa stayed at the steps to watch while the boys and Vanya sealed the deal with a cheerful fist bump. Janak and Shubha walked over to where Vanya had set up the bottles. Looks good, Janak said. Let us play. Shubha picked a soft mango from the fruit bowl. Bro, no way, Janak laughed. You will mash it before it rolls. Vanya ran inside and came back holding a cabbage. Ball, she said. No cabbage, Vanya, Janak said. That is not a ball. She ran back in the inn and returned with a lemon. This? She asked. Shubha shook his head. No fruits or vegetables. Then he and pointed to her sock ball. She hugged it for a second, then slowly held it out. You can use my ball, she said in a small voice. Janak smiled. That one's perfect. Bottles clattered, laughter echoed. They gave each other silly names. Captain Crash, Spin Queen, Rocket, Roller. Vanya raised her hand. My ball wins. Shubha grinned. No team, no problem. This is the best. This is fun. Richa smiled and got up. All right, pass me the sock ball. I am in. World Bowling Day, 9th August. Puzzle it out. Help little Krishna reach the better pot. Identify the names of Sri Krishna, son of Devaki, Lord of the universe, charioteer of Arjun, one who holds the flute, protector of cows, son of Nanda, one with a dark complexion, one with a rope tied around the waist. Answers. Devaki Nandana, Nanda Kumara, Jagannath, Parthasarathi, Krishna, Damodara, Muralidhara, and Gopala. The joy of jokes. Teacher said, Suresh, tell me who is an archaeologist? Student, a person whose career is in ruins. Taxi driver said, I am thinking of giving up this job. Policeman, why? What happened? Taxi driver said, when I am driving, people sit behind me and talk. I do not like people talking behind my back. Mother said, goat's milk will make you young. Son, Mummy, but I saw a 4-year-old goat with a beard. Nagesh, what sort of a car has your father got? Vidya, I can't remember the name. I think it starts with T. Really? Our car starts only with petrol. A notorious criminal was pleading with the judge for mercy. Judge, tell me what good have you done for our country? Criminal, well, I have helped kept the police department busy working all these years. Lakshmi said, I bought a big book, bodybuilding, and I have been working hard on the exercises for 5 months. Radha, is it having any effect? Lakshmi, yes, now I can lift that book all by myself. Less or more mobile, mom and dad. For how long does your kid use the mobile phone each day? It is time for us as parents to take action and restrict this time. Researchers have found that excess use of mobile phones could be the cause of heart attacks among children. These children also tend to be obese. So they advise not more than 1 hour a day on the mobile phone. Bharati September. Shivanshu inspires think and ink. मेरा भारत है महान सुन लो सबके कान पहले थे महाराणा प्रताप और पृथ्वीराज चौहान आज है गगन में शुभांशु अभियान करो नमन गगन में यान आरती टेनियस Eat healthy. In the city of Anuradhapur lived a girl named Akanishka. Akanksha. She was a jolly, good girl and lived with her family happily. As the summer vacations were coming close, she became excited to go to her grandparents' house in Kondur village. When she reached there, she was on cloud 9 as she loved playing in the farms with her friends and cousins all day and night. The first day, as night settled, she heard her grandma's voice calling her home. It was dinner time. She went in happily, but then was astonished at the sight in front of her. She saw healthy meals such as rice, roti, and curry in front of her. Living in a big city, she was used to eating junk food for dinner, and rarely ate home cooked food, and hence she asked her grandmother about the change in her dinner. Her grandmother understood the situation and explained to her the benefits of homemade food. She told her that home cooked food was made with healthy ingredients and also did not contain preservatives and a lot of oil. It was made with lots of love and affection by the family members and hence was both healthy and tasty. That day, Akanksha understood the importance of home cooked food and made a promise to herself that she would eat home cooked food on a daily basis and would avoid eating junk food regularly. She returned home to Anuradhapur with healthy thoughts in her mind. Fact: Japan is considered as the healthiest country in the world. Ishita Gupta, 10 years. Tanyashri, grade 6th. B. Shubhalakshmi, B. Subhashini, grade 8th. And this completes the reading of Children Magazine of Chinmaya Mission, Balvihar. Om Shri सिद्धिविनायक स्वामी की जय. ओम गंगणपतये नमः.